Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Angela and I'm an angelic Arcturian, and today I want to transmit to you guys about the God or source consciousness. This is a download that came through today that you guys, the energy from this channeling is like running through me so strong right now. It's making my stomach feel sick. Like, it's such powerful, like, vibrating energy. So I wanted to hurry and jump on and transmit in this vibration because it's pretty freaking intense. But Source wanted me to talk to you guys about Source, so let's talk about Source or God consciousness. It's basically where we came from and where we will eventually return. The God Source is the purest vibration of love. It is the all-knowing, the all that is, all consciousness that exists in the entire universe, the creation of everything, right? And so this vibration is very, very pure, and it vibrates only in love. There is no duality, no darkness, no suffering of any kind. This is such a pure vibration of love that we can't even conceive of it in these low vibrating forms that we are in right now. It's just inconceivable, this amount of love. And if I could give you the closest thing that I've found to it on earth, would be that moment when your child is born. If you've had kids before, the moment that your child comes into the world and you see them for the first time and you just feel this love that's like so incredible and you just can't even describe it, that would be God consciousness times a million. And it's just inconceivable to us. So basically what we do is we begin from this vibration. We are the source. We are the source. We're vibrating with the source, in perfect harmony with the source. We are all things are us. And what we do is the source wishes to experience itself from many different perspectives. And it's just kind of on this journey of contrast as well, in order to help define consciousness. Consciousness is always evolving and growing, and it's infinite, and there's so many ways that we can explore consciousness. And so the source explores its own vibration through many different acts of creation, we'll say. So we as human beings are one of those acts of creation, but there are billions. I mean, you can't even put a number on how many acts of creation exist in the all that is. So when we first begin incarnating, we usually start at our very lowest vibration, because the point of it is kind of to start at our lowest vibration and work our way up to our highest vibration and eventually rejoin the source. And if you guys saw my multi-dimensional consciousness video, I did touch a little bit about that on here and kind of the levels that we go through when we are vibrating our way back to the source or wholeness or all that is. So we fracture out, and then we begin to go through these processes of evolving, and through this process of evolving we increase our vibration, we work up dimensions, and we ultimately become one with the source again. So say if we want to explore third dimensional reality, which is a reality of duality. It has a lot of contrast. It has darkness and light, good and bad, black and white, that kind of thing, because that really helps us to speed up our conscious evolution process. But it is a big part of that process, and I do believe that all of us have to go through some level of third dimensional reality and existence in order to be able to graduate to new levels. But there are 1,000 million planets that we can do it on, and not all of, Earth is not the only one. It's just one of many. But usually we'll begin incarnations in first dimensional consciousness, which would be like air and how air interacts with gas and in the atmosphere and that kind of thing. Second level consciousness would be plants, rocks, trees, animals. Animals would be the higher up of the second level consciousness, but there's no level of really self-awareness in first and second dimensional consciousness. It's just basically kind of like the intro to this process. This is kind of the first stages about learning to exist in a third dimensional reality. And so it's a process, and it takes, many different incarnations until we're ready to start incarnating as humans. But when we come down as humans, we lose 90% of our vibration. So when we're not in physical bodies, we are vibrating with the source on whatever consciousness or dimension that we're on. And that means we're in perfect unity, perfect harmony. We know everything. There's nothing unknown. We're tapped into all the levels of consciousness. Like, we just know everything. We understand that we are pure love. We have this perspective that's not really, I don't want to say not attainable as a human, but even the most awakened people still have such massive limitations on what we're able to perceive, just because of the frequency that we vibrate on as humans. It just blocks out so much, because that's part of the illusion. But it's hard for us to perceive it or conceive of it. It's just, we're on way too low of a vibration to understand it as humans. So when we get back to the other side, we remember everything. We remember all our lives. We remember everything. And we remember that we are vibrating in pure love with the source. And so that's why when we come down and we have these human experiences, and we're in this world of contrast and duality, and of this very narrow perspective and what we can even perceive at all, that it can be, a lot of people can get really caught up in the duality of it, the good, the bad, and the war between good and evil, and demons and angels, and that sort of thing. That's all third dimensional reality. It does not exist outside of the third dimension. So it's just part of the game, and the process of evolution is this whole idea of good and bad, demons or angels. And a lot of people misunderstand what demons and angels really are. It's been misconstrued through the evolutionary process of humanity, which is perfectly fine, but there needs to be some corrections made in a few things with humanity's consciousness, but we'll get there. So I do want to do another video on angels and demons, and I will do that. But for this video, we're just going to keep it on understanding what it means, to vibrate with the source, and then how that perception changes when we come down, and we come down as humans. So what a lot of people don't understand is, on the other side, when you're in pure consciousness and pure love vibration, there is no judgment at all. Like, God's not judging you. The only person that judges you is you. And that's because when you're in your full awareness and you're vibrating in pure love, when you look back at your human experience and the choices that you made when you weren't conscious, or you weren't able to perceive that pure love, and you forgot who you are and where you came from, then you're the one who holds yourself accountable. And that's why we like to reincarnate based on our karmic debts, because we go, oh, I was such a piece of shit in that life, like, I want to be better for me. It's not because God is up there, you bad, you're going to hell. Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's a personal decision that we make from a space of pure love, which we don't have that space of pure love. We can cultivate it as humans, but even that is just minuscule compared to the full vibration of love that we're in once we get to the other side. So at the end of each life's journey, you are your own judge, jury, and executioner. So Spirit really wants me to emphasize that God is not judging you, and also that God is not a male or female. It's an energy, it's a vibration. It doesn't manifest as one or the other. It's the totality of both. So you could look at it as, when masculine and feminine come into that perfect union, that would be a source level vibration. You know what I mean? There's no just masculine or just feminine. It's the combination of the two that creates the fullness of this vibration. But there's so many other things to it too. I mean, it's just impossible to really wrap our heads around from this limited vibration and perspective that even the most enlightened spiritual guru has on planet Earth is still so small compared to what we walk into when we die, when we cross over, and we walk into that pure remembering, that pure love vibration, and we go, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I remember everything now. How could I forget? And that's something that a lot of people go through. So as you're doing your journey here on planet Earth, and you're learning your lessons, and you're healing yourself, and you're making yourself better, you're evolving towards that next highest dimension. And when people choose not to evolve and they choose not to grow, then they're just making their evolution take that much longer. But eventually everyone gets back to the source. And when we evolve through all these different dimensions and we get back to the source, we come back as wholeness. So we fracture out, we go through all this suffering, especially in the third dimension, where we fracture even more, and like we just keep fracturing into these tiny fractals of light. And then part of the journey is like learning to bring all those lost soul parts back in, to bring all your energy back in, and to create for yourself a whole fractal. This means you're vibrating in perfect alignment. You're vibrating from love and compassion. You've learned your lessons. You have insane empathy. That's how you're making your way back to wholeness. And once you reach that wholeness within yourself, then you join back into the source and become wholeness with the all that is, or God, or source, or whatever it is that you would like to call it. So, I hope that made sense. I will probably be talking a little bit more about it. This seems to be the way that I've been guided to go lately, so we're going with it. And when Source wants me to share more about it, I will. So I hope that made sense to you guys. If not, leave me a comment, and I will see you next time.